Annie had no professional training, yet she cooked so deliciously that everyone in the neighborhood couldn't stop praising her. Her simple yet flavorful dishes became a local sensation. One day, a mysterious man appeared, intrigued by her cooking. Just one bite of Annie's rice noodles was all it took to impress him. Without hesitation, he handed her a business card and said she shouldn't be working here. Annie, too busy to pay attention, impatiently stuffed the card into her pocket. It wasn't until evening that she finally took it out and examined it. To her surprise, the card belonged to one of the world's finest luxury restaurants. The head chef there was the legendary Paul, a culinary icon adored by celebrities. People waited a year just to get a reservation at his restaurant. This revelation ignited Annie's determination. She knew she had to become a chef like Paul. The next day, Annie followed the address on the card and arrived at the prestigious restaurant. Greeted by the mysterious man, she couldn't contain her excitement at the sight of towering skyscrapers, a stark contrast to her countryside upbringing. Soon, she was led into the kitchen. Everything was pristine and professional. The stove was sleek and efficient, and there were a dozen knives of varying sizes, polished so well they gleamed like mirrors. It was unlike anything Annie had ever seen. Moments later, the chefs lined up, followed by Paul himself. Today, he was interviewing two hopefuls, and their challenge was to cook fried rice. Fatty, one of the candidates, scoffed at the task, boasting that it was child's play for a chef of his caliber. Annie, unsure of herself, knew she had to give it her all. Determined, she grabbed leftover rice from the fridge and 2 eggs. She heated a pan, beat the eggs, and poured in the rice, stir-frying it over high heat. Meanwhile, Fatty prepared his dish with elegance. He started by melting butter, adding prawns, peas, and carrots for color. Then, he carefully poured freshly steamed rice into the pan and gently fried it over low heat. Both dishes were presented. One was glossy and vibrant, the other looked dry. Everyone assumed Fatty had the upper hand. But when Paul sampled Annie's fried rice, he barely needed a taste. He simply held the spoon to his nose, inhaled the aroma, and declared, "Fatty, go home." Fatty was furious, demanding to know what went wrong. Paul didn't bother to explain. Instead, he slapped Fatty across the face and dismissed him. Turning to Annie, Paul revealed her secret weapon, the leftover rice. Its texture made all the difference. Paul then handed Annie a set of new work clothes and told her to get started. He showed her how to slice prime Wagyu beef into perfect 2mm slices, not too thick, not too thin. Annie tried to mimic him, but was quickly scolded. Paul criticized her posture, her technique, and her precision. She was reprimanded again and again, but she refused to quit. After hours of effort, Annie finally managed to slice the beef correctly. When she cooked it, Paul frowned. He claimed she'd overcooked it or let it stick to the pan. Frustrated, he dismissed her, telling her to go back where she came from. Annie left heartbroken, thinking she might return to selling fried noodles by the roadside. Yet her determination flared anew. Refusing to give up, Annie practiced tirelessly. Each time she failed, she tried again. She kept frying, slicing, and refining her skills. As the kitchen emptied out for the night, she stayed behind, pushing herself